Another college basketball season is officially in the books tonight. We recap the Final Four and the national championship games plus in the NBA. Luka Doncic's season for the Los Angeles Lakers is officially over. The latest installment of our nation's sports show is next. The following is a feature presentation of our nation's sports show.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
Well, welcome all my friends to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. It is our Nation Sports Show, everybody. Hope you all are having a great weekend. Yes, I did quote Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and if you don't like it, you know what you can do. I'm tired of sending IOUs to a certain somebody in South Jersey, so I'm not going to say it. But what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I am Ezra Vickery, and this is our Nation Sports Show. And we actually don't have a lot to get into, so this show may last as long as Steven and the Sat. No. This show is not gonna be too long, folks. So don't look at your clocks as we get to the done with the first hour. Stay with us because we definitely got a decent amount to get into. Some NFL news to report, some couple of signings, couple of reports on a retirement or two, and a few other things we can get into on that. Also, NBA news as we head into the final week of the NBA season. We're going to be looking into that. We're going to be talking about that as well. We're going to be talking about the NCAA men's and women's Final Four tournaments, which took place this past week. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the finality of that. And I know Steven has a few thoughts on something that happened in the women's Final Four between the head coaches, which many people found to be embarrassing and very unprofessional. But he is going to get into that in just a few minutes as well. And even more stuff to come. So please stay with us. And the other ways you can stay with us is by following us at Owen_Sports Show on X/Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.com, all at our Nation Sports Show. And of course, follow us on the YouTube where you can get in the live chat. Join us. We're on there. Hit us up with your comments, your concerns. Hit us up with anything you want to talk about. We will read it on air. Looking forward to having you guys on there. And hopefully we'll see, speaking of having you on here, we'll hopefully have one of the other two. That would be, of course, Joey Thornton and Kevin Rory sometime later tonight. Hopefully we'll see them for the end of the show date. Of course, we're going to be talking about a few other things as well. But first, with me right now is my good old heavy metal brother from North Carolina, a man who has got drumming skills that are like no other. He is the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. It doesn't matter if it's one day remains, or if it's many other songs of Alter Bridge I can't remember right now for this joke. It's my heavy metal brother. He could play them all, man, and that is Big Stephen Wyand. What's going on, man?
What is going on? Yes, we are here. We are live to talk about the world of sports. And yes, there is a lot that went down over the last couple of days. The men's and women's Final Four, the national championship games, and a couple of NFL news notes to get to and all of that good stuff. And obviously there were some hirings over the last couple of days as well in the world of sports. And We're gonna get to all of that and then some. Let's do this.
I agree, and hopefully for once this show my fucking internet holds out. We'll see what happens. Uh that's a big mystery. Will Ezra's internet hold out? Stay tuned for more updates. But let's get into the main thing, and that is the NCAA men's and women's Final Four. Let's start off with the men's Final Four. Obviously, the biggest tournament in sports right now, the most probably fan interactive and fan friendly tournament in the world of sports as well. It is concluded. We have a champion, but obviously, let's get into the final four games. Obviously, we started off with a battle between former champions UConn and a team that's really made a lot of fire, made a lot of noise in this tournament, and that is the North Illinois Fighting Alumni. So I didn't watch the game. So just letting people for preface notes. Unfortunately, due to a lot of things, commitments, of course, and family stuff, and of course, wrestling being at the same time as half of these damn games.
Because
um,
Stand and Deliver was happening at the same time as the UConn and Illinois game.
and I'm sorry, but as much as I will support any Illinois team, uh, Fatal 4 match for XT title involving Joe Hendry is gonna override everything. But that's just me. But overall, from what I could tell from the highlights, it was a great tournament. It was a great matchup. Illinois unfortunately started off not as hot and let the lead get away from them, and they tried to play the comeback game, and it just didn't work out in Illinois' favor. UConn, the defending champions, moved on to the final championship game.
Yeah, UConn basically was running away with this game a lot during the game, and I said it last week on the show. I said that Braylon Mullins was going to have another good game, and he did. I mean, he hit four threes on Saturday night against Illinois, and they were too much. Caravans and Reed and company, like they overpowered Illinois in this game. I mean, anytime Illinois got close, UConn was making the defensive plays, and there was a couple of times during that second half where I thought Illinois was gonna either take the lead or make it even closer because UConn for about 4.5 minutes could not buy a bucket. Like they were missing layups and missing jump shots and missing defensive assignments and just not getting to the ball, and just Illinois got to give the kids credit. They hung in there, but the championship poise of the UConn Huskies came through in that game. They made life miserable for these kids. I mean, just again, the championship experience that Dan Hurley has these boys ready. It seems like on a yearly basis, like you cannot you got if you want to beat UConn, you got to take them down, quickly. Because if you keep them in a game, they're gonna try to solve your problems, and that's what they did. They solved Illinois' problems in this game because every time Illinois seemed to have a crack at it and they seemed to have a jump start on potentially making this game really interesting and potentially taking the lead, UConn just made more shots than them. They outdid them in the last few minutes or so of the game, and Illinois just couldn't buy a big three or a big defensive stop in the last 2-3 minutes of the game because, I mean, just again, UConn was just too big for them in the moment, and they're used to this spotlight. They're used to being in these big games, these big moments, and succeeding. And I really think that Illinois, if they can stay the course, if they can bring back these kids next year, and a lot of them stick and stay with the team, I think that they could potentially be back here next year. Nothing to be ashamed of. They fought their asses off just to be in the tournament and to contend with some of the biggest heavyweights in the tournament. They made a magical run that no Illinois team has gone in 21 years when Darren Williams and that team took on North Carolina in the championship game back in 2005. And just hats off to the kids. They played a great season. Nothing to be ashamed of. They will be back in the spotlight as long as they stay the course.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, look, Illinois proved that they are truly coming for the crown eventually. They proved that they're not just a one-off tell-all story. They're going to be a team that's going to be in the running in these tournaments for a long, long time. And I think personally, it's gonna be not long before they're back in a Final Four matchup or even in a championship. That's just the way that I see it fit because obviously any team from the Illinois area, even Indiana, of course, obviously Indiana I'll support before anybody, but any Illinois team with Chicago kind of being my secondary home in a sense, I love it. So, and UConn, of course, UConn's been in the spot. They know what it takes to win this and win the big one. They've done it before in men's, they've done it before in women's. It's amazing what a team like this can continue to do on a more consistent basis, and that's what UConn's been doing for years now. So I see Indiana making it back, if not next year, within the next year or two, definitely. Uh, it's or fighting alumni, they're going to be out there, and people better be prepared. Do not take them lightly going forward because they're only going to get better from here.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we have seen teams that you thought that did not have a shot at making it this far. And this is why we love this tournament, because anybody that has a puncher's chance of making it far in the tournament can go on a run. And I know everybody was talking about heading into the Final Four, how there was no Cinderella team, there was no Cinderella stories heading into the Final Four. Theoretically, there kind of was. Illinois, they were the one team that really nobody, like, even though they were still a number three, but nobody really gave Illinois a shot to be there. Everybody talked about Duke. Everybody talked about Florida. Everybody talked about Arizona, Michigan, even Michigan State. Because Tom Izzo has always had those boys ready to go in the tournament. And obviously, North Carolina, another prominent school, that has made deep, runs in the tournament. Um, We're obviously, like, we talked about with UConn. UConn has been there, and heading into the championship game, they were looking for their third title. In the last 4 years, they've won two out of the last three championships. And that success that is so hard to come by, because being consistent in any sport is so hard, because as we all know in college, these schools change because not everybody stays the same majority of the times, because the majority of these kids automatically think that, hey, I'm good enough to be in the pros. So after I had my good freshman year, junior year, sophomore year, you know what? I'm going to the pros. And when they go to the pros, they get a nice adios reality letter, from the basketball gods saying that, hey, you think it's easy to be here? Think again. And I think that it is impressive, no matter what you think of Dan Hurley's antics, the fact that he has led these kids to multiple championship game appearances. It's really hard to do in college basketball because we haven't really seen that happen in quite some time. I mean, this is kind of going back to the John Wood days of UCLA back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. And it's one thing that I love about this sport, and that is, especially with the NCAA tournament, anything is possible. You could see teams that are you don't normally think would be in their spot, and then somehow run on this magical run.
I
This time,
mean, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, technically now, you saw San Diego State, Florida Atlantic in the Final Four.
I remember that.
And that was a great game. And San Diego State won off the Butler jump shot with a second to go in the game. And that year alone, you had three teams that made the Final Four who never had been to the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this tournament, it's going to be interesting to see next time who we end up really getting to see next year. But moving on to the other game, Steven, that was, I believe it was Arizona. You
And
said,
and real quick, just to confirm, that other team was Miami.
oh,
Miami was the other team that made it to the Final Four. So you had UConn, Florida Atlantic, UConn, Miami, and of course San Diego State. That was in 2023. But yeah, back to the present here with the second Final Four game.
yeah, absolutely. And the second game, which I believe, if I'm right, was Arizona and our good old or the Michigan Wolverines.
Yep.
Steven, can you go into more detail on that one? That's a game that I kind of accidentally tuned out on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big storyline for me out of this game was one of the best overall college athletes in Jaden Bradley for Arizona, who was played by foul trouble in this game. I mean, in the first half alone, he had three fouls. Three fouls alone in the first half. Just when he thought that he had momentum on his side, getting his rhythm going, he was a foul, called for a foul, and he would have to sit on the bench. And just, he was played by foul trouble all game long, and just, it sucked for him because he was one of the best college athletes, this year alone in the sport. And to be played by foul issues throughout the game. And there were a lot of players on Michigan and Arizona throughout that game that were played by foul issues, but none bigger than Jaden Bradley. And I think that really affected a lot of things for Arizona in that game, because there were several times where Arizona just could not buy a basket in that first half. And just when they thought they had a run going, of course, as we all know in basketball, you cannot trade baskets with your opponent, because it's going to be like, playing a game of cornhole, because, you put one in, and then other person puts one in, so you're canceling each other out. So you have to play team defense. And Arizona, no matter if they caught fire, it didn't matter, because Michigan was making their shots. And Michigan, throughout the entire tournament, has made other teams' lives miserable by dominating, whether it be in the paint or on defense. And just unbelievable how Michigan, throughout this entire tournament, has made things difficult for their opponents, including Arizona. And I said on this show multiple times, I didn't trust Arizona in a big spot, because there's been several years where they've been played by high seedings and choking in big situations. And
Yeah,
not necessarily they choked, they just got outclassed and outcoached by Michigan. I mean, Michigan, there was one moment in time during that second half where those players were making consecutive threes. Like, they couldn't miss. I mean, just unbelievable. Just the consistency that Michigan displayed on Saturday night. And also, what was telling is that during the Michigan and Arizona game, after the Illinois UConn game, half of that stadium was done. It was out, because Illinois filled up the hell out of that stadium. They came all the way, obviously not that far from Chicago, to go to Indianapolis. They made the journey. But yeah, I mean, the game was no contest, because Michigan absolutely wiped the floor with Arizona in this game.
yeah. When you're talking about a team like Michigan, Michigan just overpowered Arizona in this game. It was not even a contest, from what I could tell. And you look at stats like in that game. Overall, I'm gonna pull up the not the player stats, but I'm gonna pull up the quarter by quarter stats here for the Michigan Arizona game. So if I were to pull that up right now, yeah, they won 91-73 to move on to the championship game. And if I'm looking at overview here, quarter by quarter, dude, it's not even close. In the second half alone, oh,
Aha!
KR is here, Kevin Rory.
What's up, brother?
Fellas.
Hey man, perfect timing. We were just talking about the NCAA Final Four in a championship game, man. We just got through. Actually, what were your thoughts on fighting Alumni versus UConn?
Illinois, to me, they kind of overachieved in this tournament. So, I mean, UConn just took care of business and did what they had to do.
Yeah. And then right now we're in the middle of talking about Arizona and Michigan.
Now, that I did not see coming because looking from afar, you would think Arizona was the odds on favorite to win it all. The way they looked and the way people talk, and then they just come in there and got the belt to their ass by Michigan. So that kind of surprised me.
It surprised me too because there were players on that Michigan team, including Godot, who couldn't even hit a damn three in that first half to save his life, and then in the second half he hit like 2-3 in a row. My God!
Yep.
And then you had another. Who was the guy on the ankle again? That had the bummed ankle and knee. What was his name? But he, amazing how he was poised in that second half on one knee, one good leg, draining threes, nothing but net. Hit his first three in the first half, then he hit those two threes in the second half on a bum knee and ankle.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Shit, what's his name?
But you know, like Michigan dominated Arizona from the start, and I was talking about one of the biggest problems for Arizona is players like Jaden Bradley who could not get things going because of the foul issues and not finding his rhythm in the first half. And obviously, when he would try to get something going, he would have foul issues play him, and then he would have to sit.
Yeah, I think another thing for Arizona was I mean, I guess it really hurt them more than anything to have an easy region. I mean, I'll call it what it is. Like they here's the sad thing, and I'm saying this as a Duke fan. Duke had the number one overall seed, and they arguably had the hardest region with UConn and Michigan State and Kansas and St. John's, Hall of Fame coach after Hall of Fame coach, and Arizona, who had the second overall one seed, had arguably the easiest region. Like they basically was in cruise control until they got into the Final Four, and until they got smacked. And a combination of that, and they didn't play the hardest schedule this year, and it kind of they got shell shocked when Michigan came out there and threw haymakers.
Real quick, the player we're thinking of is Jackson Lindenberg.
That's it, yeah. But I mean, they threw haymakers at them, and Arizona just was like, they didn't know how to respond.
Especially with Lindenberg on the one good ankle and knee. I mean, this dude's limping around, and God bless the kid, for wanting to stay out there with his teammates. But Lindenberg draining those 2 threes on one good ankle, like that's impressive.
And then I look at Michigan, and Michigan played a very good schedule this year. I mean, we watched that classic with Duke. We watched the classic with Michigan State. They played in already a hard Big Ten conference. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, Michigan, they were battle tested. And here another thing is going to the championship. I mean, Michigan. This is why I tell you in college, the NIL and the transfer portal matter. If you don't know how to recruit and get players out that and pay players, you're going to sink like a lot of coaches we know. But that's literally what college is how well can you recruit in the transfer portal and get some experienced guys, and how well you can manage your money like the NBA, NFL in paying these star players, and how much you allocate, because we've seen like Kentucky. Jesus Christ, they have the number one highest paid NIL roster in college basketball, and they absolutely sucked all year. I mean, you can't just be paying players to pay them. You got to pay the right ones. And Michigan, I think, did a very good job. Their entire starting five were all transfers at one time or another.
Yeah, and another player that lived by his name was Trey McKinney in that game. He was draining 3-pointers left and right in that second half. I mean, again, he was one of the many focal point players in that second half that grabbed the bull by the horns. And just that entire Michigan team, just they came together, they were ready to roll, and they played as a one cohesive unit, and they made Arizona's lives a living hell throughout that entire game. I mean, just unbelievable stuff from Michigan.
Yeah.
And all of their victories were convincing for the most part throughout this entire tournament.
I think the one team that gave them not like really big fits, but actually kept it close for a while was probably Alabama. I believe that game they didn't run away until late in the second half against Alabama.
Yeah,
I believe Alabama had a lead on them, if I'm not mistaken, around halftime, a little
yeah,
after
yeah.
that. Every other game, yeah, they were pretty convincingly. And Michigan was the one team I didn't expect to win it all because they've had some injuries. Like I said, they just I feel like somebody could have upset them, but hey, they proved me wrong. Kudos to them. I thought my two teams that were favored headed into were obviously Duke and Arizona. That was the two teams that I thought, even with the injuries with Duke, I feel like they were getting guys back, and same with Arizona. I feel like they were fool's gold. Like they basically showed you they were beating teams very convincingly, but come to find out, those teams weren't very good after all. So Arizona was beating up on some bad teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and talking about the Final Four, or no, excuse me, talking about not the Final Four. We'll go to the women's side here in a little bit, but the national championship game last night. I mean, again, during the first half, I mean, it was a close game, but again, just like with Michigan all year long, in the second half they pulled away, and UConn had a chance to get back in this, but again, the Wolverines clamped down on defense, and Dan Hurley's kids could not get it going consistently in that second half.
No, I will say UConn had the advantage coaching wise. I think, to be honest, Dan Hurley's the best coach in college basketball. It's
Yeah.
not a knock on Dusty May and Michigan. It's not a knock on them at all. Like they got an elite coach, but Dan Hurley is this era's Coach K. Like he is dominance, and I mean. They were going for 3 out of 4 championships, which is incredibly hard in this day and age where players are transferring, players are salty, they're getting in their feelings, they got agents, they leaving for the draft, they're doing this. It's so many obstacles, and Dan Hurley makes it look easy. So let's give them a little credit. But I just they ran into a buzzsaw with Michigan, and if UConn they put themselves in a hole 2 games ago against Duke that if Duke didn't fumble it, they might not be where they were now. So UConn really they lucked out with that. But Dan Hurley did a fantastic job in this entire tournament. And also another team that I thought had Dan Hurley and UConn's number 2 going out of this was if Duke hadn't put them out, St. John's I thought would have beat UConn. St. John's beat UConn twice this year in conference play. That's
Oh yeah, and St. John's is a pesky team.
as on Dan Hurley for some reason. I think UConn was very happy, I guess, to play Duke, and also very lucky that they got past Duke after going down to 19. But them coming out beating Illinois, I not a knock on Illinois, but like I said, I think they overachieved, and I think when Florida got upset, it really opened up a big hole or a big door for them to just creep on through. I mean, just to get put down in the Final Four, obviously, but yeah, UConn just ran up into a buzzsaw. I mean,
They
Michigan
did.
better team overall. Even though UConn, I think, had the better coach, I think Michigan had the better team, the better bench, the better depth, the better experience. And UConn had some experience too, but it's a juggernaut Michigan had.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, then let's talk about the women's Final Four. Steven, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit on that?
Okay, so we'll get the one that really nobody's talking about out of the way. UCLA absolutely took Texas out and beat them pretty good, during that game. Um, and UCLA punching their ticket to the Final Four or to the championship game on Sunday afternoon. But the one game that everybody is talking about, not necessarily the game itself, but the aftermath of the game between head coach Gino Auriemma and Don Staley of South Carolina. Gino said even during the game, they're kicking the shit out of us. And he's whining like a little bitch on TV because he's not getting his way. His girls are actually getting punched in the mouth and they're getting outcoached and outplayed during that game. Because there for a while it was close. But during the second half and the third and fourth quarter, South Carolina absolutely owned UConn. Made Gino's team's life miserable in that second half. And even as the game was about to reach the climax in the end, Gino couldn't help himself. What a complete jackass. I mean, getting in Don's face and they're getting in a shouting match and this and that. And I thought Don handled herself with dignity and with class. It's Gino who is making Don stepping out of her own skin, out of her own way, and having to stoop down to his shitty level. And how just a complete hack he is as a sore loser. Because yeah, he's all beating his chest when his team's winning, 50 some odd games in a row, including last year's championship game. And this year they were undefeated heading into the championship weekend for the Final Four, and they got absolutely dog walked, smacked around, and South Carolina that night was the better team. And the way Gino made this all about himself during the course of the game and after the game, because nobody was talking about how dominant South Carolina was in this game. All they're talking about is Gino's actions during and after the broadcast. And I honestly, truthfully think that this took Don Staley's team out of the whole shebang in that championship game on Sunday. Why? Because that's all everybody was talking about heading into Sunday was the complete bullshit moves of Gino against South Carolina during that game. Going on broadcast TV and just saying the things that he was saying. Come on, dude. Take the loss like a man. Come on, seriously. And that apology was whack as hell. I don't believe his apology because, like my Uncle Gary always says to me, a leopard never changes its spots. Auriemma will never ever change the way much of a douchebag he is. He will never change his ways. Once an asshole, always an asshole. End of story.
That's true.
I mean, dude, come on. We have seen it from every sport. We have seen it in hockey. We've seen it in basketball. We've seen it in football. We've seen it in baseball. We have seen these managers, these coaches that had these personalities, whether they're winners or even if they're losers. We have seen these types of maneuvers pulled by coaches that can't handle losing because all they know is how to win. You got to know how to win and you got to know how to lose in style.
Yep.
Because clearly Gino Auriemma does not know how to lose with dignity, with class, with respect. Because we've seen Andy Reid win Super Bowls, lose Super Bowls. We've seen Patrick Mahomes win Super Bowls as a quarterback, lose Super Bowls as a quarterback. And what does that dude do? He gets up in front of the press and says, hey, we didn't win today because we didn't get the job done. He's not up there whining like a little bitch and crying over spilled milk. He's owning up to his screw ups. He's owning up to his mess ups and all that type of stuff. We've seen when like in Kevin, you know this all too well. When your Golden State Warriors blew the 4-3 series lead or the 3-2 series or 3-1 series lead against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Did you see Steph Curry? Did you see Klay Thompson? Did you see Steve Kerr up on the media saying that we should have done this and they're making excuses? They said the better team won. Give me a fucking break. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the magical run that Ezra, your Chicago Bears, went on this year. Did you see Ben Johnson making excuses when the Rams beat them? No. Ben Johnson said, hey, we had a great season. We had a great season. Nobody expected us to be here. And they again, there's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser. You just got to know how to do both. Nobody wants to lose. Of course, nobody wants to lose in sports. But there is a way to still be good sportsmanship. And obviously, Gina Oriema did not oblige by those standards because even Don Staley in the national championship game against UCLA, South Carolina got their asses whooped by UCLA in that game, losing by 28. Yep. Staley didn't cry over spilled milk. She held her own in that press conference, saying, "Hey, got to give the girls credit. You know, they showed up. They played great. You know, we gotta find out. You know, in the off season, heading into next year, we got smacked around. You know, those were her exact words. We got smacked around, and we got to figure out, you know, how to smack back. You know, next year and be back here winning a championship because obviously Staley's squad 3 years ago beat Caitlin Clark and that great Iowa team in the championship game. Of course, Caitlin Clark, you know, is going to go down as one of the greatest collegiate players in any sport, men's or women's. It doesn't matter what label you want to use. But Caitlin Clark did not win a championship in college. That's okay. Because what does that do? That makes you want it more when you go to the pros. We have seen athletes that have not won a college title, and that makes them determined when they go to the sports, when they go to the, you know, the professional side of things. I didn't win at college, but that makes me more hungry and determined to get it done as a professional athlete. We have seen athletes in their youngest, you know, of youths, like Michael Jordan, you know, getting turned down by the varsity high school team, saying, "Hey, kid, you know, you're a great player, but you're not good enough yet to be here." What did Jordan do? He didn't bitch and complain. He was up on the floors practicing, saying, "All right, you say I ain't good enough now? I'm going to show y'all why I belong to be on the varsity team next year." And he did the damn thing. Instead of crying over spilled milk, be better at it, winning and losing. Simple as that.
Yeah, you're always taught there's no such thing as losses, just lessons. And that's what you're supposed to take. When you lose, you're supposed to look at yourself in the mirror, pick yourself up, and learn from your mistakes. I mean, most people, when they lose, that's where that is where your flaws are come to light, and that's what you learn that you need to fix about yourself. So instead of bitching and crying, they should get back to the drawing board and get ready for next year and fix what they needed to fix.
And two instances that come to mind real quick, Kev, and this hits on what you just said. When Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers back in 2008 lost to the Celtics in that 2008 finals, got lopsidedly destroyed on the road against the Celtics. Kobe and the Lakers were determined because Kobe had the infamous quote, "Second place just means you're the first loser," and he's absolutely right. But he didn't say that to be a prick about it and an asshole. He was just being truthful, and he used that quote as determination to get back to winning a championship. Because up until that point, it was 4 years since 6 years since his last championship with Shaq, and he was wanting to prove to himself and to everybody out there that he can lead a team on his own to a championship, and he did it in the last 2 championships that he won with the Lakers. And the second point is Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs. In 2013, we remember this series all too well. The Miami Heat were up 3 games, or the Spurs were up 3-2 on the Miami Heat, and Ray Allen had that crazy 3 that tied the game, sending the game into overtime because the league was ready to roll out the championship trophy and ready to celebrate Popovich and the Spurs' 5th championship, you know, in the last, what was it, 11, 12, some odd years, something like that, 13 years, whatever it was. And the Heat ended up breaking the Spurs spirit in 7 games in that finals, which went on to be a classic and one of my favorite finals of all time. And Popovich said it himself. Look, you know, they made more plays than we did. We had our shot to win in Game 7. We can't make excuses. And then what happened the next year in 2014? They absolutely dominated Miami in 5 games to win their championship. So, yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it in any sport. Tom Brady, losing 2 consecutive Super Bowls to the Giants. One, with the perfection season. He had to learn how to lose to be an even better winner in his last several years as a professional athlete.
Nope.
Just like Gino Auriemma needs to learn how to lose with dignity, but of course he won't.
And that was a Stephen Wyand rant sponsored by. Oh wait, that's right. We don't have any sponsors. We don't get paid for this shit.
And that's the bottom line because Cold Steve said so.
Yes, very much so. He's very drunk, very nice, very evil. Nice.
And of course, Danhausen 316 said, I just cursed your ass.
That was for all the Danhausen fanshausens.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Like my damn daughters running around screaming, "You are cursed" around the damn house.
Oh, that's so great.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, man, let's since we had the NCAA tournament covered, let's get into the NFL and let's
Oh, wait, real quick, just to piggyback.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Kev made mention of this in our chat. Michael Malone is the new head coach in North Carolina. Now, I will say, as far as this hiring, I do think that as far as who else was involved out there, I do think that Michael Malone was the best candidate that was left. Because, I mean, obviously Malone does have a championship experience in pros, but as we all know, coaching in college is a different ballgame because you're coaching kids. And I think that Malone can do it. It's just a matter of will the kids listen to him.
I'm having a tough time with this because if it pays off, then kudos to him. Like I wouldn't have expected it, but I don't believe he was the best hire because Billy Donovan is still out there, who recruited that entire championship Florida team with Joakim Noah and guys like that. Billy Donovan knows the recruiting process. He knows how to draw guys in. He knows all of that. And I think there's better candidates as well in-house. You're telling me that if you didn't hire it, and we don't know behind the scenes, you're telling me that if you didn't hire a Kenny the Jet Smith or a Vince Carter or someone like that who's been a UNC alumni, you're telling me that those guys wouldn't pull in the big-time recruits? Get out of here. They would catch up to Duke with recruiting because here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, Hubert Davis wasn't that bad. Okay, on paper, maybe not. They've won some games. Yippee-doo, whoopee. But let's not act like they have been out-recruiting Duke for the last 5 years because they clearly have not. They're on different trajectories. Duke's getting these 5-star, number one in the nation recruits, and Carolina's barely getting a top 25 recruit. That's the difference here. Caleb Wilson has been the best recruit they've had in Hubert Davis's tenure, and Caleb Wilson is maybe top 5 in the entire nation. You're looking at Darius Acuff out of Arkansas. You're looking at Cam Boozer. You're looking at Peterson from Kansas. You're looking at the buddy from BYU. All better than Caleb Wilson. And the fact of the matter is Hubert Davis cannot recruit. And Duke has been wiping them out the water with recruiting and conference play and NIL and all these big-time matchups. They're just absolutely – they're on different ends of the spectrum. So UNC had to make no choice but to fire Hubert Davis. But all I'm saying is guys like Kenny the Jet Smith, Vince Carter, if they wanted the job, we don't – like I said, we don't know what's going on with that. But they would have been a better fit. And not a knock to Michael Malone, but the greatest coach in the NFL history is who? Bill
Belichick.
And we watched Carolina get ran off the field plenty of times last year in college football with Bill Belichick at the helm. They lost to Duke. They got blown out by Duke. They lost half their conference games. They lost to TCU first game of the season by like 50. It was embarrassing. And Bill Belichick thought it was all sweet. Like, oh, he's used to coaching who? Grown ass men without having to recruit. What is Michael Malone used to coaching? Grown ass men that, like, it's a whole different culture. You're coaching kids. You essentially have to raise them kids like your own. Like, this ain't no, oh, I'm coming here with Jokic, who's a grown man, and hey, dude, we're gonna coexist, and I'm gonna make the plays. No, you have to essentially raise them kids and mature them kids as players and as young men. And I don't know if he can do it. I mean, I'm skeptic.
And the one thing that doesn't help either is the fact that a lot of these kids are leaving early on in their college careers and going pro. They're not staying their entire tenure. A lot of these kids aren't doing
Even the
that.
transfer portal. The most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament, it was Cadu from Michigan, and guess where he was? UNC transfer, went to Michigan. That's what happens. If your coach ain't doing the job and your program ain't doing its job, guess what them cows are going to do? They're going to dip. They're going to leave. I will say this. I think they should have gave Hubert Davis one more year for the simple fact. I mean, as a Duke fan, I personally wish he would have stayed 10 more years, but that's beside the point. He should at least generally, as a basketball guy, should have stayed one more year because you got two top 20 recruits finally coming to UNC next year. But guess what? Now you fired your head coach. What if those recruits like, no, I signed up to play for Hubert Davis. I'm gonna decommit and go somewhere else. You're fucking your program. Let me just say that. So if Michael Malone can do it, dude, I mean, kudos to you. But all I'm saying is we're in a time now where it's NIL, and he might not be the GM and make those decisions of who pays who because he wasn't in the NBA as well. But at the same time, how can you raise these young men, these 17, 18-year-olds, and raise them and bring them up and help coach them? We know you can coach. Coaching's only a tenth of what you do in college. Like I said, you got to recruit. I mean, can Michael Malone recruit? Because all them years in Denver, no offense, but other than Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, who was he recruited to come to Denver? Like, it's really been the Jokic show. If it was Jokic, if Jokic was out and hurt, guess what? That team has been buns. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. So, I mean, it's kind of easy to band aid that stuff, but we'll see. And I also don't. They actually UNC made him the second highest paid coach in the NCAA too. So I don't agree with that as well. But hey, that's what they believe in. Go for it.
Yes, yeah, that was a very nice, very evil thing for them to do. Um,
Yeah,
sorry.
I could ask Danhausen to go in there and just curse Carolina fans in Carolina, and we we might see LA Knight pop up and throw Michael Malone through a damn stream TV. So hey, that works too.
They need to just. Well, the good news is Danhausen doesn't need to curse the Jets. They've already cursed themselves. But
And the Raiders, same thing.
You know
speaking of
what?
the Raiders, speaking of the Raiders, let's talk about this.
Oh dear God.
That is that Fernando Mendoza has told the NFL apparently that he will not be attending the NFL draft so he can watch the show from home with his family in Miami.
Hey, I hear you. I respect it. Yeah, fuck it. He says he already knows.
I thought you were going to talk about the complete disaster, but we'll get to that in a few minutes.
Oh, complete
Disaster.
disaster. You know what? Let's get that quick thought real quick and then move it to the complete disaster. Because you know me, I'm down the road and I'm flirting with disaster.
That boy, Molly Hatchet reference.
What's the disaster we're getting to?
Oh, we're talking about, the guy who sucks in prime time.
That's about 50% of the NFL quarterbacks right now.
Captain Kirk.
Oh,
Jeez.
oh dear God.
Let's talk about that. Let's go.
I mean, okay.
See, I thought y'all were talking about another disaster, and that's the fact that
the Cowboys?
No, the fact that Danhausen should actually curse Aaron Glenn for the shit that came out of his mouth at his press conference, talking about he believes that Geno Smith and the Promised Land in the same sentence should be outlawed from even being spoken in an entire sentence, because he believes that Geno Smith can lead the Jets to the Promised Land.
Oh, dear God Almighty.
The Jets, Geno Smith, and the Promised Land should all be banned from being used in the same sentence.
Okay, with that being said, the
Ugh.
Jets, you are cursed. Are you
Geno,
serious? The
Geno,
guy, Aaron Glenn, who could not coach his way out of a wet paper bag as a head coach, he should be sticking to defensive coordinator job duties. Yes, I said duty, damn it. But anyways, the fact that Aaron Glenn says that Geno Smith, the guy who led the league in interceptions last year, yeah, that guy that was considered to be one of the top comeback players of the year a couple years ago, who won that award, and then he goes last year to the Raiders because Pete Carroll thinks that, oh, I can lure him away from Seattle and he can lead my Raiders team to a playoff berth. And he didn't do
Geno
crap.
Smith, Geno Smith at Promised Land. Sorry, Steven. Geno Smith at Promised Land is like Shador Sanders and accurate. It doesn't go together.
Oh, dear God. All I know is Aaron Glenhausen should be cursed for the shit that came out saying that.
Aaron Glenhausen.
Should be cursed because you should never even think about a
Geno Smith and Promised Land is like saying that Aaron Judge and the Yankees are going to get the job done in the playoffs.
Oof.
Because,
or that Drake May is going to be protected.
yeah, which is not going to happen.
Yeah, he'd been protected if he switched to Geico.
Well, no, mayhem like that wouldn't happen if he switched to Allstate.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers knows all about that.
Are you in good hands?
No.
But yeah, Steven, like where does Aaron Glenn get off for saying that? Come on. Look, we give a lot of shit to Geno.
Is Aaron Glenn working for ESPN? Like seriously, just to get these dumb takes? Like, come on.
I've heard Joe Tessitore give better takes on Monday Night Raw than I heard freaking Aaron Glenn give takes at press conferences. Aaron Glenn is definitely the dullest tool in the entire toolbox known as the New York Jets organization.
And it's so funny, speaking of the Jets, that when Sam Darnold and the Seahawks won the Super Bowl back in February, you had the Jets Twitter post saying that another chapter begins, or whatever the hell it said. I'm like, if you're talking about losing, then you're 100% correct. Because the fact that Aaron Glenn believes that Geno Smith is going to lead this team to the promised land, dude, I would love to know what the hell kind of stash you were given, because cocaine apparently is a hell of a drug, because, I mean, it is just ridiculous. I mean, don't worry, I'll wait, because Geno Smith is going to be sucking this year.
I heard there's going to be a new sports documentary on the Jets. It's called "Fucked the Jets Story."
Speaking, I know one of y'all said about Drake May not being protected. Speaking of that, word on the street has it that bottle of teeth that Danhausen walks around with is Drake May's teeth from the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Are you sure some of those teeth were Joe Burrow's either?
He might have had them both. He might have cursed Joe Burrow actually, and then picked up the teeth.
Yeah, that's why he ended up with that foot injury that kept him out for most of the year.
Are you sure some of those teeth even weren't going back in the days that Jay Cutler stays with the Bears?
Dude, he was not getting hit. He was throwing interceptions. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
He just got his vision cursed.
That dude was throwing up more picks than the Illinois lottery.
But you know what? That's actually a good segue here. Talking about Geno Smith. Geno Smith actually has done something for the Raiders, and that y'all were talking about, and the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick. So Geno did do that.
He did the Lord's work.
Now to get a guy that won't even show up at the NFL draft to even accept the honor.
He's simming the draft in Madden. He just roll with it.
I'm wondering. So ESPN's thinking to themselves, man, we could have had this. We could have had an interview with him in person. They're like, now what the hell are we gonna do?
Number 1 overall pick, and we can't even talk to him.
The Raiders have selected Mendoza. Oh wait, he's not even here.
Oh, you done messed up now.
Hey, you should have kept this one in the vault, man.
You gonna learn today. But what was the other mess we were talking about? The other failure disaster?
Oh yeah, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, that guy.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ridiculous amount of money that they paid this fucking dude.
Yes, very nice, very bad.
Yeah.
Dude, that money they paid him was stupid. Like, you're paying Kirk Cousins that kind of money.
You're
Just
taking a risk because apparently that the it's technically a 1 year deal as far as like, but at the same time, you're banking on him to have a great year and then we're gonna pay him that big contract.
He's gonna be a backup. They're about to draft Mendoza. What the fuck? They're paying a backup. You know what? I just want to know who the fuck his agent is because I'm about to hire him as my personal accountant or something. Because the fact that he keeps robbing these teams out of money and keep walking away with the bag is ridiculous.
Does his agent work for TKO?
It may be.
I was getting ready to say, you keep shoehorning him into every other team. How about ticket prices?
I can't get over that shit.
Oh my god, that was great last night.
Greatest promo.
If you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about CM Punk's pipe bomb last night on Raw. It's fantastic.
Hey, that's what all them teams that want Kirk Cousins are saying exactly what CM Punk said. Lower the fucking price tag.
Dude, here's the funny thing. Here's what the dirt sheets are saying. Mind you, take it all with a grain of salt because the dirt sheets are usually 99.999% fucking wrong. But they were saying that basically they gave Punk a few bullet points, no script, to go out there and say what you feel. And Punk went out there and said some things that were true about the frustrations in the locker room. It took notes from Cody Rhodes' promo from Friday night and just fucking put a nuke into it and it shot it off like a cannon. So there you go, game, set, match.
You know what? My gut says a lot of that came straight from his heart and how he felt, not just from reading some from promo. That was
that was straight shooting.
Everybody else was thinking there. Let's just say that.
I mean, my God, when he said lowered the ticket prices, you heard like a 10-15 second pop from that crowd in Houston last night.
I don't have a bloated cousin on the board of directors. Jesus Christ.
Hey, your cousin is the biggest star in Hollywood. Oh, was the biggest star.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then dropped the line about how he ate dog food from a crazy old man.
Oh man.
Called Pat McAfee a narrow-armed hillbilly.
Yes.
And Pat McAfee.
When he said that, I popped. I was like,
wait, what? I thought I heard that right. I said, what?
I had to go back and rehear it. I'm like, what the hell?
I said, wait a minute. Did I hear that right? Did he McAfee? I said, oh.
He did.
My God. I said, I lost it. I said, dude, I said,
that was great.
Y'all gave CM Punk a platform and told him, no, don't just go in. And yeah, y'all regret that now. Y'all can't restrain him no more. Y'all said just go at it.
Just do it. Just let it rip, Tater Chip.
Yeah. And by the way, just before we get back to the sports here, guys, just real quick, also want to say for those who did not watch, just want to let you know that on Get Up this morning, they announced the matches for night 1 and night 2 WrestleMania on what nights are going to take place. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to WWE social media or go to Get Up ESPN to look at the final cards. Of course, it was done by Joe Tess. Who else?
He's the best. But yeah, getting back to the present at hand with Kirk Cousins. I mean, you're going to be paying this guy this kind of money. I mean, trying to gamble, and how fitting it's Vegas. They are gambling on the fact that Kirk Cousins is going to bring success to the Vegas Raiders. What are you, crazy? Like,
and by the way, somebody lost the bet.
Oh, they did?
Dan Orlovsky.
Oh!
I've seen that.
He has to wear a clip-on dangling Michigan earring for the next month. On every show he appears, if he misses a day, the clock restarts over.
Oh hell.
Uh,
Um, let's see. There also too. Dexter.
maybe
What's up?
maybe he should go to Dallas to wear that ring because it's the only ring that the Cowboys will ever see. Oops.
Oof, rough. Giants all defensive tackle defense Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade and will not be participating in the team's off-season workout program.
He said, "Fuck this team. I quit."
um,
Green guys, I want to trade.
he's smart. Also too, Rashee Rice will not be punished by the NFL as they found nothing that would be considered conduct that is detrimental to the NFL.
Of course, he wears a Kansas City jersey. Sounds about accurate.
The Jaguars have signed defensive end Trevon Walker to a 4-year, $110 million contract extension.
Good signing or good extension.
Yep.
Yep. Let's see here real quick. Let's see. We mentioned about the Kirk Cousins bullshit, which is funny. Stephon Gilmore announced his retirement.
Hmm.
Yep, 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback. Decided it was time to hang up the cleats. Congratulations are in order to Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen, who have welcomed a beautiful baby girl to the world.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yes, congratulations are ordered to him. And unfortunately, the ring on Haley Steinfeld might be the only ring he gets. And then also the news that Puka Nacua has entered rehab.
I wonder what the hell is going on with him this off season. Oh man.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with him. He had that, what was it, that allegation against him of,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden he decides to check himself into rehab.
Then he said that some kind of slur on the live stream.
Yeah.
It's been drama this off season.
Yep. And but yeah, that's pretty much it in the world of the NFL. Quickly in the NBA world, we're obviously into the final week of regular season action. And obviously the biggest stories coming out of this is obviously the injury bug that's been hitting the Lakers.
Oh,
It started off with Luka, who unfortunately went out with a grade 2 left hamstring strain, and he's done for the rest of the season. And it is unknown whether he'll play in the offseason or not if the Lakers make it past this next round.
ooh.
And to add on top of that, now Austin Reeves has suffered a grade 2 oblique injury.
Oh man. They are screwed.
Yes, they are.
You
Yes,
you
they
can't
are.
depend on an 88-year-old LeBron James to carry you in the playoffs because I mean if it was more clear before, this is the San Antonio and OKC show. It's definitely clear now. There's nobody else is going to threaten them. Whoever has that say, if the Lakers, if for some reason they beat the Suns, I don't know how, or the Nuggets, I don't know how, or the Rockets, I don't know how in that first round matchup. They are going to get swept, and every game they will lose by 20 or 30 to the Spurs or the Thunder. I mean, it's whoever gets that matchup might as well just sim to the Western Conference Finals because Jesus Christ, LeBron with no Luca and no AR, yeah, that's trouble.
Yeah, and not only
That's
that,
trouble.
but Luca out with the grade 2 hamstring injury. I mean, for the foreseeable future, and
They
Obviously,
did
with the
say
news.
Luca has gone over to Germany to get some kind of stem cell treatment to like speed up his recovery, maybe by a week or two. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know how that's going to fare, but we shall see.
But obviously, the Lakers are going to be not the same team without Luca or now Austin Reeves,
No,
and obviously LeBron can't do it all by himself because I mean, look at the competition in the Western Conference. When you got the Spurs and the Thunder, who are the clear two favorites in the West, and then you got Jokic and Murray and the Nuggets. They're no slouches either because obviously the
they got
Nuggets
experience.
won the championship 3 years ago, and
And the
hell, we could be
Rockets,
looking
shit,
at
the
his
Rockets
Spurs
ain't no
team.
slouch. The Rockets with Ime Udoka and Kevin Durant, when he gets hot, they ain't no slouch. The Rockets
And obviously Durant's he might be older, but he's still one
they
of the
can
best
still get
scorers in the
buckets.
league.
That was a tremendous game the other night with the Warriors. Steph and KD going back and forth. Steph returning to the lineup, and KD and Steph were battling it out. Clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. That was a pretty good game. But
Oh
uh,
yeah,
I watched the Lakers the other night play Cooper Flag and the Mavericks.
dude!
And
Shout outs to Cooper Flag.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, that dude is on a tear.
yeah, he had 45 against the Lakers, and LeBron had 40, and they still got whooped by the Mavericks. And that's the Mavericks. They ain't even a playoff team because they're all hurt.
And the next night he
Yeah.
dropped 45 again. Then the first night he dropped 51.
Yep, the youngest teenager ever to have a 50 piece in the NBA at the age of 19 and 1 month. So he just turned 19 last month. So shout out Cooper Flag, man. He heard all the rumblings about my boy Conky Nipple from Charlotte. And what about Charlotte? Jesus Christ.
Man, what a run they're on! Wow.
Them they play in the Celtics tonight, so this is gonna be a good test for them. But Charlotte, man, Charlotte's got one of the best records in the league since November, so or since December. So that's it's pretty impressive. So I think they've lost like 8 games total since December.
And at one point they were on a 9-game winning streak.
Yeah, they've got the pieces, man. They drafted a rookie, Will Nipple, who broke Steph Curry's rookie 3-point record. They got
Mm-hmm.
LaMelo Ball finally healthy and able to damn turn up and damn burn people. And then you got Bridges and damn Brandon Miller still showing us that they look good, man. They got a good little squad. I think they really this year need to invest in a skilled big man, and I think they really can be good next year. Charlotte, since Michael Jordan sold that team, is finally paying some money and turning up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And this is pretty much a battle the Western Conference is going to end up winning. I think they're going to win the whole damn thing at the end of it because it's just between San Antonio with Wembanyama and with OKC coming off the championship win and the firepower that they have right now. Any other team is gonna fall before them. But um, one of the other things that broke the other day, yesterday, was the Bulls have fired the executive vice president of basketball operations, Arturas Carnesovas, and general manager Mark Eversley. A move that's been very much popular with Bulls fans in general because they believe that they are part of the root of the problem. That's the reason why the Bulls have made such stupid moves, especially this past couple months, having so many guards on their roster and so many small people on the roster and not enough big guys. Getting rid of Vucevic and getting rid of this guy and this guy. And, it's a feeling that it's definitely not lost by those fans. I think they're ready for a change, and I think this is a big step forward. But I think also too the biggest story going around outside of this is Luca. Or not Luca, Giannis.
Yes.
Because an NBA spokesperson came out in response to the Milwaukee Bucks Giannis investigation. And this is what is said, and I quote: the NBA's player participation policy investigation into the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis is ongoing, and certain facts remain in dispute. The investigation has found that the Bucks scheduled Giannis to work out last week in 3-on-3 scrimmages as part of his return to play process, but he declined to participate. There was a disagreement as to whether the team requested that Giannis participate in a group workout earlier this week, and the league is continuing to monitor the situation. So I guess there is some sort of validity to what we talked about earlier in the pre-show, and that is issues involving Giannis and the office.
I mean, it's been a ongoing, lingering effect throughout the year with Giannis and the Bucks, and there were rumors and all this stuff back in February. Was he going to get traded? Was he not going to get traded? People were thinking, oh, he's going to possibly maybe go to Golden State. Maybe he's going to go to Minnesota. But none of those moves happened because Milwaukee didn't pull the trigger. And there were teams that were, fielding offers and wanting Giannis to go to their respective teams, but Milwaukee wouldn't pull the trigger. And obviously, this relationship with this organization is not the same as it was 4 or 5 years ago, especially during that great Milwaukee team that won the finals in 21. I mean, 5 years is a long time ago when it comes to sports. And clearly, those memories will stick with Bucks fans of that great Bucks team that won the title against the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. But man, I think this relationship is going to be fractured when the offseason begins because I do not see a world in which Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be returning to Milwaukee. I think he is out the door when the season is over.
Fuck no, I don't see him returning. I mean, they have done wrong by Giannis. Let's be honest. I mean, they took his loyalty for granted, and it all started. First of all, he should have known some shit was up when they got rid of Budenholzer and brought in that damn bum Doc Rivers. He should have known. Oh fuck this team. They're not trying to win, and then turn around and bring in. I mean, I get they tried with Dame, but they literally did not try to give Giannis any kind of help. They just put him there and said, "Here, go win." Just because he won the championship with very little help the first time is not a good recipe to go back and win another championship. I mean, he actually it was miraculous that he won with the team he had. I mean, Middleton looked like actually an actual all-star then. Now he was a bum. I mean, they actually had some players, and now they're just they're throwing noodles at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not pretty. And Giannis, loyalty is not in the NBA no more. It doesn't exist. There's no Kobe Bryant's. The last of a dying breed is really Steph Curry. And no matter how much Golden State bullshits, which they currently are, I don't see Steph asking out. Like his home is there. He's about at the end of his career. But here's the difference. Giannis is still in his prime. He's just coming to his prime. Fuck that staying with one team shit. It doesn't matter anymore. There's no such thing as loyalty no more when you got these organizations and these teams just fucking doing wrong by you. I mean, you talk about how TKO's doing all this bullshit in wrestling. I mean, it's the same damn thing. These teams are doing wrong by these players by bullshitting them, just basically gaslighting them, and then I mean, trying to just use them for personal gain and all this other shit. And I mean, it doesn't work like that. So I mean, if I'm be honest, I wouldn't be mad at him for leaving at all. I wouldn't call him a escape this and all y'all unloyal. I would not do that because he delivered a championship to the city of Milwaukee. What more can you ask? If he wants to leave, fuck it, let him leave. He deserves every bit of what he wants. Do right by him. Stop bullshitting with these offers and oh, we're gonna trade you. No, we're not gonna pull the trigger. No, fuck, do right by him. I mean, I guarantee you they didn't even go up to him and say, "Hey, which of these teams would you rather prefer to go to?" Just because we want to do right by you, we want to send you somewhere where you want to be sent. We don't want to just trade you to the Toronto Raptors. I mean, fuck it. If someone like the Knicks give up, a contending team like the Knicks wants to give up, hey, you want to go here? Hey, if a contender like the Houston Rockets want to send me that, you want to go there? I mean, they need to do right by Giannis. I do. Giannis is not at fault at this at all. It is 100% that Bucks organization. They're horrible.
I'm trying to remember the last time something like this happened because, I mean, we have seen players across all sports that have gotten mistreated by their organizations, taking their loyalty for granted. I mean, just how Giannis is being treated, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I'll give you a player right now. Robert Kraft and Tom Brady.
Mmm.
Damn loyalty for granted. Guess what? He got the fuck out of there and won a championship in his next organization. And then they took it for granted and they ate their dirt. They ate their words. Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. We can win without Brady. Okay, do it. Because I ain't seen it yet. Brady went to Tampa in 2 years, won a championship.
Yep.
Beat
And in
Pat
his second year in Tampa, he led the league in passing and touchdowns.
and beat the mighty Mahomes. Blew them out in the Super Bowl. So
Yep.
yeah, they took advantage of this loyal shit. It don't exist no more. And I honestly, it really started with LeBron James. As hateful as it sounds, it started with LeBron. When he got the fuck out of Cleveland, shit, it was all bets off. And then Kevin Durant followed suit. Oh yeah, then it made everybody. It's okay with everybody now. And I'm afraid Denver. I mean, they're winning right now, so winning band-aids a lot of problems. But if Denver starts to lose, I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic is like, "Fuck it, fuck this loyalty.
Yeah.
Shit. I done delivered a championship to Denver. Get me out of here." I wouldn't even blame them because they don't try to get him other help other than Jamal Murray. They just keep trying to throw him in there and say, "Go in." You can't do that, man. I mean, look at how much help them winning teams have actually gave their superstars. Look at what Oklahoma City has done with Shea. You give them Jalen Williams, you give them Chet Holmgren, you give them Alex Caruso, you give them a bench, you give them guys like that. Aaron Wiggins, you give them a bunch of, and same with like Wimby. You got Wimby, but guess what? You drafted Stephon Castle. You traded for De'Aaron.
De'Aaron Fox.
Now you signed Harrison Barnes for a cheap two-way wing player. I mean, you got Cornette from the Celtics, a good bench piece. I mean, you got pieces around your stars. The Bucks don't want to do that, and it's coming back to bite them.
Loyalty can only get you but so far.
Yep. Same way with Minnesota and Ant Man. I wouldn't blame Ant after about 3 or 4 more years of getting the hell out of there.
I agree, especially with those 2 years that Edwards led Minnesota to the conference finals and they get beat in 5 games in back-to-back years.
And all you needed was a competent second scorer.
Agree.
I mean, I literally said if John Morant can mature and grow the fuck up, trade for him. You got a point guard then that can score. You got Ant some help.
And if you wanted to, you could have taken a pay cut to keep the rest of the squad because the rest of that squad, it's very good. But there's not a second scorer, on that team that can be consistent with Edwards.
And it wasn't no win or loss when they traded Carl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle because it's still
No.
dumb for dumber. They're both dingy. Neither one of them I trust. Holy shit. Cat soft and Randall thinks he's fucking Steph Curry out there shooting threes all game and he's a big. Like, what are we doing? Go get some real talent. Some real scores. I mean, eh, uh, why couldn't they be? I know he doesn't play, but Dallas was obviously looking to just give Anthony Davis up for a bag of chips. Why couldn't Minnesota just say, "Hey, go take one of our ninth or 10th best player. Like, go take a bench player. Here you go, give it to us." Why not try? At least try. Dallas was willing to just move off AD for a damn bag of barbecue pork skins. Literally just trade him the pork skins and take AD. And worst case, he gets hurt. Whoopee. You already knew it. But best case, he plays like healthy AD and gives you 25 and 15. Literally, somebody. First of all, trade that damn big Gogurt Rudy Gobert, that 7-foot Walmart cashier, as Shaq said. He's not
Walmart cash.
shit. Defensive player of the year, my ass. Oh my god. But it's moves like that, man. Your organization's got to be willing to damn try anything to make your star happy. And that is why I applaud my Golden State Warriors because, yeah, they didn't make any like great moves, but they went out and tried. They tried their damnedest to bring Giannis in. They brought in Jimmy last year. They're doing what they need to do to satisfy Steph. And last year it worked for a while until Steph got hurt at the end. Like Jimmy Butler came in there and they started to win. They were beating the top teams, beat OK. They were playing good. And I mean, that's what you do as an organization. You do right by your superstar. You either trade him or ask him, does he want to be traded, or you get the man some help. And but Giannis and the Bucks clearly don't want to do that for Giannis.
I
Yeah,
agree.
to be honest though, Cooper Flag gonna be like that. What the fuck Dallas is doing, trading it, giving away everybody, leaving Cooper Flag by himself on a damn island.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, what? Just I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. But let's see. The only big news I know coming out of MLB already is the Cubs have lost their ace for the remainder of the season. He's gonna go under season-ending elbow surgery.
Hmm, that's tough.
Yeah, tough break, unfortunately, for the Cubs starting out after coming off some good wins, especially right here as I look up instead of going to the Cubs freaking Instagram page. Maybe it'll tell me in the thing here. I'm trying to remember. Here it is. It was I'm trying to figure out 1 second here, folks. Oh, Cade Horton. That's the ace for the Cubs.
Oh,
He suffered a UCL tear in his pitching elbow. They're not sure if it's going to require a Tommy John or a primary repair. So, unfortunate for the Cubs already to have that starting off. But Steven, you got anything else you want to throw in here before we close out the night?
I think I am good for the rest of the night.
I think so too. And as a reminder, guys, for the wrestling fans out there, we are officially now in the home stretch. We are, as of now, I believe it is 10 days away, if I'm not mistaken. No. We are 11 days away from Wrestle freaking Mania.
Yep.
yep.
Yep, April 18th and 19th. Like I said, the final cards are set, including opening one of the nights, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar.
Man, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Which
Yep.
means Brock can go in there, put Oba over, get his big check, and get the fuck back to Canada.
And it's also gonna be for the people that don't got the ESPN Plus, it's gonna be broadcast on ESPN on the cable for the first hour. So a lot of fans that don't really have it got it. They're gonna get a good treat.
Oh, absolutely. And also on night 2, the 6-way ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship that will now feature Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
It's also going to be a part of this. Part of the early show on ESPN. So check that out if you guys get the opportunity. But
Chris Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre are going to beat the holy hell out of each other. That's going to be insane.
Yep.
unsanctioned.
Now we have our next Peter Griffin and the Chicken with Drew McIntyre. The literal meaning of on site, because every time that one SmackDown where every other segment you had them interrupting the segment fighting.
That was like Sean Stasiak just running into shit. He would just next segment.
Oh, the guy from Planet Stasiak.
Yeah.
But
I met that guy when I was a kid. Actually,
I felt bad for you.
Hey, it was cheap. What the hell?
Yeah, makes sense. But also too, what's gonna happen is don't forget about the GCW Collective and everything too. So, Kevin, you want to give us a couple quick final thoughts before the show ends?
Well, I'm actually going to give you a score update right now with the Hornets and the Celtics that I mentioned earlier. The Hornets are leading 20-18, and LaMelo Ball has 13 points of those 20 to start.
Damn.
So he's on.
Where's LaMelo Ball been all season?
Hey, didn't LaMelo, once he came back from that foot injury, LaMelo's had some pretty damn good games. He had a 35-point game the other day, and him and Knipple, yeah, they playing good together, man.
And it's crazy. He's the only member of the Ball family that's actually been successful.
Hey, but you know what? LeVar Ball tried to tell him a long time ago LaMelo was the most talented of the three. He's going to be the best one, and he definitely didn't lie about that. As far as basketball is concerned, LaMelo is about the only one that's superstar
He's the Logan Paul of his family.
potential. Yes, he's actually doing something with his potential. So
Yeah, not an asshole filming in a forest of people hanging themselves. But I digress.
yes,
Yep.
that is
But
very.
yeah. But if that's it, Kev, we'll
That's
go
it.
ahead.
For good.
Okay, man. Steven, close
Great
it
show
out.
tonight. Great show tonight. Glad, Kev, you could be on here tonight, man. Always great having you on. And yeah, if you haven't seen the Mania card, it's set in stone, ready to roll next weekend in Las Vegas. Overall, both nights are solid. Great matches on the card. I mean, I've heard Bully Ray said this on Busted Open, and David LaGreca said this too, that this potentially could be a sleeper Mania that could turn out to be great. I mean, because the matches they got on this card is just insane. Overall, I think it's going to be a good night. Lots of fun stuff. Obviously, the draft will be here in a couple weeks for the NFL. That should be a lot of fun, seeing who gets drafted and all of that good stuff. And happy to do another show here tonight, talking about the Final Four and the national title games. And again, congratulations to UCLA on the women's side. On the men's side, Michigan Wolverines winning another championship. And congratulations to those two teams. And lots of fun talking about the NFL and the NBA whenever we get into. And it's a lot of fun doing this. So you can follow us on Twitter or X at @Owen_Sports Show. Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, where we are live on most Tuesday nights at YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. You can also follow us on our individual channels there in the description. I'm at Steven_Wyand. He is at That Niner Game 10. And obviously Ezra is at Deadman469. And of course, Hijacker Mike at Mr. Mac on Twitter. And also follow his cigar channel at Smoke in the Bay, THA Bay. And that'll do it for us here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Those for tuning in live and on demand. A lot of fun here tonight. And Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Sure. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Thank you to Big Kev for joining us tonight. It's been awesome. Next week we'll have another great show for you guys, of course, as we get ready to head into the playing tournament and the playoffs of the NBA. We're going to get into that. And of course, the draft's coming up real soon. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that, and we'll be covering that when it happens as well. So with that being said, thank you for joining us. We'll see you all next week. So for Kevin Rory, for Joey Thornton, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, for Stephen Wyand, from Hijacker Mike, and everybody in the Sports Show Nation, I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you all next time. Same YouTube channel.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.
Thanks for watching this week's featured presentation of our Nation Sports Show.